didn't have a fancy camera, and nor did I know how to work one. I didn't know any techniques that I needed to know in order to take nice portraits. See, having a photography class, that was kind of important. I thought you just fiddle around with the camera and click the button, and then bam, there was a nice portrait, somehow. But with a bit of research, my skills started to grow exponentially. Before I started using these skills, this is kind of what my pictures look like. But after learning and applying these skills, this is what my skills began to look like. I have now been taking pictures for 2 years with my school yearbook and participating in statewide competitions and taking my friends' Instagram pictures and more. Whether you want to start taking better pictures just in general or be able to take better pictures of your friends, learning the basics of portrait photography can be very beneficial to you. Today, I'm going to share 3 simple tips that will help you take better portraits by understanding photo composition, lighting, and subject composition techniques. Now that we understand why portrait photography is important, let's start with one of the main elements, lighting. Lighting determines the tone, mood, and the atmosphere of a picture. If you use a front lighting, it might make your picture feel flat. Also, using a back lighting does the same thing. Here's an example. The first picture shows front lighting that can cause shadows in the back and lots of distraction. And the second one is of back lighting, and that makes your picture feel flat and doesn't really lead your eye into the picture. Now, if you use a side lighting, it helps give a more dramatic feel and give more dimension and shape to your subject. When taking pictures outside, you need to make sure that your timing is right. When the sun is high, you can get more of a full, brighter feel to your picture. Because using lighting is important in showing how you want your pictures to feel. So if you want them to be brighter and more happy, or maybe just a little bit more casual, using a bright lighting when the sun is up is helpful for that. Here's an example. This is when the sun is up, and it makes it feel more bright and full. Of course, it's a little cloudy in that picture. The second way that you can use sun lighting is if you want it to be a little bit more dramatic or have a warm feel, a softer feel. You want to use that when the sun is low and not cloudy. You want it to be like a golden hour or a blue hour, as some photographers call it. This is an example of when the sun is lower and it makes a more soft and golden warm feel. Now that we've covered the basics of lighting, let's talk about one of the key factors in portrait photography as well, which is composition. Good composition guides the viewer's eye through the picture, which is key in a good picture. You want to lead your viewer's eye into the picture and gain their interest so they will look at your picture a little longer. The biggest rule of composition is the rule of thirds. We can see that here. The rule of thirds divides the image into 3 rows, making boxes of 9. So when you put a picture, so in this picture, for example, your eye is directed to one part of the picture, and it helps eliminate distractions and make a better focus on one item in the picture rather than it just being scattered everywhere. Using different composition techniques like leading lines, symmetry, and colors help your pictures to be more interesting to the viewer. For example, this is an example of leading lines. See how the lines on the side lead into the picture? It helps. Leading lines are curves or lines that guide the viewer's eye deeper into the picture, which is the point of a good portrait photographer. So if you took a portrait that you wanted your eyes to go into your subject more, you would use a leading line or maybe a curve to help guide their eye farther into your picture. Symmetry can also help remove or minimize additional distractions and focus the viewer's eye on your subject. There is an example of that in the middle. See how the subject is right in the middle, and the symmetry of the picture leads your eyes right into the middle of the picture. That is the point of symmetry. So if you wanted your subject to be the direct focus and you wanted lines to lead right in, and you would put your subject using symmetry. Colors also influence the mood and the feel of an image or draw attention to the subject within it. As you can see in the last picture, there are certain subjects that are highlighted and certain subjects that are not. The colors in the picture that are highlighted help draw your eyes to those ones that are colored. Now, if you were to do this with a person in a portrait, you would use a color that maybe represented them to draw the viewer's eye to that picture and of that person and make you wonder more about their personality or why they chose that color. It highlights them. Great lighting and strong composition are essential, but the last and most equally important element is subject positioning. Making sure your subject is comfortable is key in the best quality portraits. Using effective communication is one way to help them relax and have comfortable portraits. So if you wanted to talk to your subject beforehand, that way if you didn't have a relationship with them, it helps ease up the atmosphere and relax tension and build relationships so that the pictures turn out more natural looking. Give clear and simple directions as to how they should pose as well. Also creating a relaxed environment like talking to them or complimenting them while you're taking their pictures or maybe playing their favorite song helps to create a relaxed atmosphere as well. Now that we've gone over the basics of portrait photography, let's recap what we've gone over. In conclusion, portrait photography can be made simple and helpful by learning how to use lighting to set the mood, composition to draw your viewer's attention in, and colors to highlight your image. Portrait photography is more than just capturing a nice photo, but it expresses the person in your photo. Whether you have a professional camera or just a phone in the back pocket, all of these tips can be applied in taking the best portrait possible. The next time you need a photo of your friend or a good photo of yourself, remember to apply these tips. My references are from markbryan.com and visualeducation.com and core.com.